Okay, guys. So we're going to try to do the bonds, polarity, and solubility lab. This is for only the people that weren't there that last Monday. Um, so we're going to be dealing with figuring out if things are soluble or insoluble, or miscible and immiscible. Um, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through this chart, and we're going to fill in these boxes. Okay, so we're going to look at box A, B, C, D, and we're going to go through all these. This top one, we're filling in soluble versus insoluble, and you'll have to decide. All right, and on this bottom, we're going to talk about miscible and immiscible. So if it's soluble, the solid will dissolve into the liquid. If it's insoluble, it won't. Okay, down here, we're dealing with two liquids, so we're going to deal with miscible versus immiscible. Miscible means they meet, they will mix into each other, and you won't see layers. Immiscible means that they will not mix together, and they will separate and layer by density. All right, so we're going to go through and we're going to fill this. Now, the way this is going to work, all right, so in box A, we're going to mix water and iodine crystals. So I'll show you what iodine looks like by itself. I'll show you what water looks like by itself, and then I'll show you what it looks like together, and you'll have to decide if it's soluble or insoluble. So we'll do A, then we'll go to B, C, D, we'll go right through until we get to the end. Okay? So we're going to do A first. So you should know what water looks like. Okay, and here it is. This is what the iodine crystals look like. It's a solid. It's actually kind of purplish. Right? And this is what it looks like when we put it together. So that's box A. In box B, we're mixing sodium chloride and water. So let's see what I got here. Well, you've already seen the water, but that's my water. Sodium chloride is a solid, white. It's just table salt. And then together, they look like this. All right, let's go on to box C. And in box C, we have TTE, trichloryl trifluoroethane, and we're mixing iodine crystals. All right, so TTE is a liquid, and it's actually clear. Okay. And right back to our iodine crystals, which are that solid. That's solid. Right, and if we look at it together, we get something like this. And there is no more solid in there. Okay. Okay, now we're on to D, and we're making NaCl and the TTE. All right, here's my TTE. Again, it's just clear. My NaCl is just my table salt. And then together, you can see, now you can see what's going on, I hope. Right. So again, you're either deciding if this is soluble or insoluble. Now we're going on to E, and we're doing toluene and iodine. Toluene, again, is another clear liquid. And my iodine crystals again. And then when we mix them, Okay. Now we'll go on to F. And in F, we're doing toluene and NaCl. All right, so here's my toluene by itself. Here's my NaCl crystals again. And then this is what it looks like when we mix. Again, these are either soluble or insoluble. All right, let's see. Now we're going to go on to, what are we on? G. All right, so we got ethanol and iodine crystals. All right, ethanol, again, is a clear liquid. Our iodine crystals again. Here they are. And then this is what it looks like mixed together. And now we're going to go on to H. And in H, we're mixing ethanol and sodium chloride crystals. So my ethanol again is that clear, another clear liquid. Here are my salt crystals. And then if we mix them, this is what it looks like. All right, so that should do it for the top ones. Now we're going to be looking at the second table. And in the second table, we're going to decide if they are miscible or immiscible. And you're going to have to be very careful, right? Because you're going to be looking for layers, okay? And it may be difficult to see. All of them are clear liquids. All right, so you're gonna have to be careful and really look carefully. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do I first. All right, so here's my TTE. Again, a clear liquid. And we're mixing it with water. And now I'm gonna show you what it looks like mixed together. Look carefully. I'm going to shake it a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to do J, where we're doing toluene in water. Alright, so again, here's my water by itself. This is toluene by itself. Again, just two clear liquids. And now this is them mixed. Okay. Now we're going to go on to K, and we're mixing toluene and TTE. Here's my clear TTE again. Toluene looks just like it. All the liquids look alike. And what matters is this one. This is the mixture. And now we're on to L, I believe. So we got water, we have ethanol, and then we have our mixture. Here is my ethanol. This is my water. And this is what they look like mixed. One to M. All right, this is where we have TTE and ethanol. So here's my ethanol. And here's my TTE. And then this is them mixed. I don't know where it's the best for you to see it. But and then finally our last one. We got ethanol, toluene. Alright, so here's my toluene. And this is my ethanol. And this is them mixed. That should fill in all your boxes. All right, now what you should be able to do is you should be able to go through and look at your solubility and your miscibility results. And you should be able to decide the polarity of every single one of these. Okay, now we know that water is what? What is water? Water is a polar molecule. Okay, so this has got to do with like dissolves like. Right, so if it dissolves in water, right, it's either polar or it's ionic. Okay, if it dissolves in a non-polar substance, okay, that means that it's a non-polar solute. All right, so now you can go through and you should be able to tell me what the polarity of water is, what TTE is, what toluene and what ethanol is. And you should already know what iodine crystals and NaCl are. Same thing down here. All right, you should be able to tell me all the polarities of all of these. Okay, so I should say, hey, what's the polarity of toluene? And you should be able to tell me and tell me why. Now there's one of these, if you look really carefully, and you should be able to find it, there's one of them that's an issue. All right, and you should understand what I mean when you figure out which one I'm talking about. I'll give you a hint. There are some substances that can act both as polar and non-polar substances. All right, so that's your hint. Okay. Now, when you go ahead and do your lab write-up, Remember, you do have a purpose. There is some pre-lab definitions. Make sure you do those. You do have to give me a data table, and then there are some questions down here. Now, number 7 gets kind of cut off sometimes. All right, so you can see it on the video here, just in case you can't see it on the lab itself. It says, explain your miscibility results in part 2 in terms of like is miscible with like. Okay. All right, well, that's the end of the bonds, polarity, and solubility lab. And if you have issues, please let me know. And hopefully this works out for you. All right, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.